You know, the day started out all right. Just feeling good, super stoked, you know, to get back first round. You know, things were going, and I just couldn't really find the flow of the hill. The hill was really rough, technical, which, you know, I really like, but just couldn't really find the flow and just struggled with it. I don't know exactly what it is, but just kind of had that off day, and it just kind of kept going throughout the day and just couldn't really put runs together. But I salvaged, I think I P6'd in 450s, and I think I took 11th in open. But yeah, it just really crushed my points there, which I'm pretty upset about. But what do? You move on and get that behind you and look forward to next weekend for round 2.
Take me through the runs, man. Like, take me through like what happened and on each run that you had issues with.
Yeah, the whole bottom of the hill. I mean, I felt like I had dialed, you know, for how moto it was, and I mean, I felt like I was just as fast as, you know, the top 2-3 guys throughout the whole weekend, and just kind of came through all halfway through the hill. I just couldn't really find that line to where I could pull myself through smoothly enough to where I could get solid runs. And I just struggled through that. Like, I went a little slower, and then my second run I went a little faster, especially in the open class. I really kind of just toned it down on the first run, kind of tippy-toed my way through the really kind of gnarly spot of the hill with the ledge. And then the top kind of, you know, you could set sail and just, you know, go. And by then I just, you know, I bobbled too much in the middle, and that was kind of it. But the second run, I was like, okay, well, we're going to really, you know, hammer down throughout the middle and kind of just see if we can blow through this stuff. And, you know, we got great suspension, and just kind of got a wrong kick on the hill, and that kind of ended my run. It shot me off on the side of the hill, and that was it. But, you know, what do? You just kind of learn from that and rebound next weekend.
Right on. So what's the takeaway for you, man, heading into Wisconsin?
Man, you know, don't repeat what I did in Walhalla, you know, and look past that and just do my thing and have fun with it.
So today we're at kind of like an off casual race. It's not a series race. You had a pretty impressive run right there in open. So does that help you kind of maybe take a different mentality into next weekend?
Totally, yeah, I think so as well. Like, honestly, you know, waking up this morning at the hotel and on my way here, I just was like, you know, like, yesterday is yesterday, but today's today, you know, and I don't really care if it's an amateur event or if it's just, you know, a pro national event. To me, a hill climb's a hill climb, and, you know, I obviously want to do as well as I possibly can do wherever I go. And today was like, you know, obviously all the heavy hitters from yesterday were coming here in Fortville, North Dakota to come hill climb, and it's just a good time here. And yeah, we want to win, and all of us want to win here, so it feels good. I just threw down actually the fast time on the exhibition hill on my open on my RMZ 750 on nitro, and finally got my first win on it this year, and it feels great, you know. Like, honestly, it's like, okay, well, now we're like on the right track. Now we're looking ahead for Bay City for round 2 in Wisconsin this next weekend, and ready to get down to work.
Round 1 of the Motoclimb Super Series is done. Can you take me run by run how your day went yesterday?
At the beginning of the day, I struggled a little bit in the 450. I had a good bottom, and then on the top, it just got a little bit loose, so I wasn't able to get a very good spot in qualifying, but it was still a really good hill.
What was the biggest challenge on that hill yesterday?
Probably the top section. The open class wall was pretty tough. The verticross was really fun, and yeah, the wall on the open class was really gnarly, but it was the most fun for sure. And
what lessons do you take away from yesterday into next weekend?
I gotta calm down a little bit on the line, and I gotta watch the lines more. Still learning. I like to watch all the fast guys on the top and just take it race by race.
How'd the day play out? Give me a kind of run by run how your day went.
Yeah, yesterday was good. I struggled a little bit with the 450 qualifier in the morning. I just was kind of having trouble getting the bike geared where I wanted it, and was kind of debating the whole paddle versus knobby tire situation. So I opted for the knobby, and the top really kind of developed and got soft throughout the day, so I noticed myself kind of switching over to the paddles. So that was just hard when you're kind of changing gearing and tires, but I think I qualified like top 10 in the 450 qualifier. Then went into the 700 class after that and drew a pretty early draw. And once again, I had a knobby on the bike with the early draw, but came out and found a really fast line on the bottom, kind of hopped over all this rough stuff and made it over the top. There wasn't a lot of guys going over at this point in time, and was sitting pretty decent, I think top 10, but went back and threw a paddle tire on for that next run and was able to grab the number 2 spot. Actually, I think I was leading for a little while, and then Logan Cipala came and he got the win in that class. So was happy at this point in time, sitting second place in the 700 main, so that was really the first main event of the day. And then went into the Open X class, and there I kind of learned my lesson, threw a paddle tire on first round, and was able to get over with a really pretty decent time. I think it was the second place time, and went into round 2 in the open class and just kind of laid it down. Fortunately, just kind of had a little bad kick kind of in the middle of the hill, so that was pretty detrimental, but charged the bottom and was able to recover decently. So was able to get number 2 on that bike, and at this point in time we're sitting 2-2 for the day, and just happy. You know, we're competition stacked, and was really just kind of glad to be up on the box, and bummed I missed that Open X first place behind Logan, because for the overall I knew I wanted to be on that pole position, but you know, we're number 2 is number 2, so we took that and went into the side-by-side. Kind of the nerves were hitting hard because I knew I needed to win it in order to get the overall, just being number 2 in the Open X class. So was fortunate enough to kind of get lucky a couple of the first rounds, and that allowed me to warm up a little bit and shake the nerves, and then made it all the way to the final round against Logan, and that's where I was for the overall. So whoever got that win got the overall, and I think the lanes were a little bit uneven, so the right lane is quite a bit slower, and he had the fast qualifier, so he got lane choice. But you know, dude was on point all day, so ended up just finishing up right behind him in that class, and second on the overall. So 2s all day, played a little bit of bridesmaid, but no, I'm happy.
Other than tire choice, were there any other challenges you were dealing with?
Yeah, the hill just in general is real challenging because tire choice was a major deal, like I've been saying it a lot, but the bottom's real, this like hard pack blue groove, and the top is this soft sandy dirt. So having one tire that works both, or a setup that works both, was really challenging. But the hill developed throughout the day, and I think it got a lot faster later in the day. The top, a lot of the edges kind of wore down and made a smoother, faster line. So that's just, you know, the luck of the draw, and we all have to ride the same hill. It's just sometimes they're a little easier than the other with your draw. But you know what, it was a good time.
All right, so we started out with the 450 qualifier. That one was good. I came here last year and didn't quite make it over. This year it came up just a little bit short, got to like the last 100 feet of the hill, just spun out, not enough traction. And then second round I did the open class, which was a brand new bike, never even rode an open bike before. And then that one was good, kind of ran the bottom smooth, came up to the wall and just kind of hit a wall and then killed it.
What were the biggest challenges for you that day, for yesterday?
It was just hard to get traction and then keep momentum through all the rough stuff. And then, like, it's only my like 3rd time racing like these caliber of hills, because I'm from Wisconsin, and there it's just like speed runs, which is more like Fordville here, and then the rough stuff's just hard to keep your momentum through and keep lines. Like
yesterday, were you having any issues with tire selection or anything like that? Or you
no, just I run M5B, so that's pretty good. I find that to be pretty much perfect in every single situation I find myself in. It has plenty of traction to do whatever a paddle tire can do.
Round 1's in the books of the Motoclimb Super Series for 2021. Take me run by run. How'd your day go?
Yeah, so we came to Brick Mine. They definitely made it a challenge this year with the way they put the courses for every class. I just had a new 450, haven't run it there yet, but I put us a good combination on it, was able to make it over and get a decent time. Didn't finish where I wanted to, unfortunately, but in the 700 class I was able to get over the top, put down a solid time, made it in the top 10, ended up with a 9th place run, which I was super happy about, with having bad luck with that bike all year. So, and then in the big bike class, in the open class, I was able, first round was not ideal for me. I had some missed runs on some of the jumps. My setup was just not ideal. Thought it would work, and unfortunately it didn't. So I ended up going back, put a good old M5B IRC tire on it, and man, that thing hooked up. Was able to put down a solid run time. Was in third for a podium finish. Unfortunately, Whitcomb was able to push me out just barely, but I was super happy with the outcome of the race. So,
Right on. Like overall, what was your biggest challenge throughout the day?
Biggest challenge was honestly getting the right setup. The 500, my 500, I've had a lot of bad luck in the last few years, so I was really on edge of what I was gonna do there, and put a setup together and was able to make it over the top, as well as with the big bike. Definitely made it a challenge this year. There was good sharp turns in it, and which actually separated quite a few riders, which was awesome to have, awesome to make it over, make it through, and make a solid rundown.
Will we see you in Bay City?
Yes, you will. I will be luckily making it there with all 3 of my bikes, and unfortunately my uncle didn't have any good luck this past weekend, so get some news back from him and see if he'll be going there as well.
Right on. What lessons do you take away from this weekend and then next week?
Don't just jump the gun on what tire. Yeah, it might be a soft, super sandy hill, but a knobby tire, if you can make it work, it will work. And I was super excited on the way I was able to make the bike work, hook up all weekend. And I didn't change it at all for today, and it's put down a good run as well today, so I'm super happy about that.
It was about as good as anybody could ask for. We ended up laid down a really good first round qualifying ride in the 450 class, and ended up lasting through second round, so I didn't have to come back out and ride. I did just to get a little bit more time on the hill and get it dialed. So we won qualifying, and then 700 class came out, and I was swapping bikes and I rode super early, so my first run was a little bit tricky. I didn't get to watch anybody go up the hill, so I was just kind of shooting in the dark, hoping I could make something work, and I struggled through the top part. So I went and changed my setup, went real long, put a paddle tire on, came back out, watched, and kind of analyzed the hill a little bit better for second round, and just had a smoking ride right up through the center of it, and it was about as flawless as I could have done. I got a few lucky bumps maybe in the middle that helped set me up for the top part, but I barely had to flick the clutch or anything, and just pulled all the way through. And then open class was pretty, I rode first, so I was really nervous riding first, especially for how gnarly and rough the hill was. I didn't really know what to expect going into it, so I just kind of picked a line and said, we'll try this, and committed to that, and ended up working out pretty well. And it held all the way till like maybe halfway through the second round, and then Logan Mead came back and got me by about a second. So I watched a couple more rides after he went, and then basically just did what he did, but had a little bit cleaner bottom where he had the paddle tire on the bottom, so he wasn't able to push as hard. So I tried to make up as much time on the bottom as I could, because I knew I was going to be sacrificing a little bit up top.
Right on. So you kind of mentioned it yourself. You kind of had a lot of flawless runs throughout the day. And you mentioned going into the race, the biggest challenges would be paddle tire or knobby. Were there any challenges throughout the day that we didn't see that you might have been dealing with?
Yeah, there's been a lot actually the last couple of races. The last race I was at, I ripped the chain guide off my extensions on my 450, so I've been swapping extensions and wheels and tires back and forth, and I popped 2 tires at the last race as well. So starting off the day, I had to get a tube in my tire right away to get the right wheel on my 450, and then swapping extensions between my 450 and my 700 back and forth is a pretty big struggle, because I rode late in the 450 and then I rode third in the 700, so it was like everything we could do to get it dialed as fast as we could. And then when I walked the hill with the open class, I started running back to my trailer to switch over to a paddle tire on my open bike, and I got about halfway. I'm like, I don't know if I need it. I think we'll just try to run it the way it is right now, because it was pretty hard pack on the bottom and the top wasn't chewed up yet. So a little bit of that was more of a mental battle at least, but just battling, switching bike setups with short run times too in between classes is always a struggle. So working on the 700 in between rounds to get it lengthened out and get that paddle on was a bit of a struggle too.